So it's well after 9 p.m. I think. My family's headed off to bed, and I've gotten a lot of messages today from people, and I know a lot of people are concerned about December 5th. There's a lot of concern about whether or not the National Guard is going to move in sooner rather than later. Here's what I know. Whatever's to come will be. Whether you believe in God or your creator, or you just believe in fate, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. We don't control that. What we do control is what's inside of us. Each one of us has a measure of who we are as a person. And at the end of the day, if you can lay down and go to sleep at night with the decision that you made, then that's your life and that's your choice. These are your decisions to make, no one else's. I myself stand by my oath. That oath is to protect every American in this country, to uphold the Constitution, and to fight where I see injustices occurring. I have my own battles that I want to fight. I want to see the family law system completely gutted because it's so corrupt. And they take our children from us every single day. There's a lot of work in this country that needs to be done. And in Standing Rock, that may be the most important time in our nation's history where we've been alive. Because it's the opportunity for us to come together as a country, as people who care and love one another, where we don't rely upon the government to bail us out, where we don't seek out Big Brother to come rescue us. This is a time where we take care of one another. I've had very few naysayers on any of my videos or the page or anything. There's always going to be naysayers. There's people out there who don't agree with what we're doing. And that's okay, Sometimes I'll fire off a smart remark to them, but, I really shouldn't even do that. I shouldn't stoop to that level, because I know for a long time I was asleep at the wheel as well. And it took a great deal for me to get woken up as to the plight of this country. The injustices occurring to the First Nations people here is nothing new. This isn't a new discovery. It's not something that just started happening with Standing Rock. And for myself, admittedly, I have to say that, because I wasn't really exposed to First Nations people. I wasn't near reservations growing up. I lived near them out in Washington State, but I guess I don't want to say that, I don't know. We just kind of keep separation between us. And I don't know if that's because of the reservation. I don't know. This upcoming, what's going to occur here soon, there is the possibility that people are going to get hurt. That's a very real possibility. But you know what? They've been hurting people already. You guys understand that? They've already been hurting people. A young girl lost her arm. Another woman is probably going to lose her eye. Broken bones, hypothermia, people shot with rubber bullets, shot with water cannons, OC sprayed. People are getting hurt already. And these people have been getting hurt for nearly 500 years. For nearly 500 years. And you can do fear mongering, Lisa, that it's going to be a damn massacre. You can do fear mongering. But eventually, because that's what they rely upon. They rely upon the fact that I'm sorry, Falling Tree's correcting me saying 700. We can agree to say it's been a long damn time though. I think we can agree upon that. But if you're not willing to stand and fight for something, it's that old adage, you're going to fall for anything. What will you stand and fight for? We all have to decide that. Will you stand and fight when it's too late? Because then, that's not the time. The time has came and went. Now is the time to stand alongside your fellow man. And it's a scary time. But you have to trust in what's already been laid out for us. It's already been laid out for us. You feel the oppression in your heart. I know that you do. Many of you do. You feel the chains that are binding you, and you don't truly feel free. Because I can feel it in every fiber of my being. I can feel it. I know because I've been personally affected in my own life by the government that's supposed to represent and to take care of its veterans. But they send my brothers and sisters to the streets every single day. They drive us into suicide. They literally drive us into killing ourselves after we return home. And I was nearly one of those. I attempted to take my own life because of what was done to me in this country. Because of taking my children from me. Because of destroying my naval career. Because the government does it for profit. They don't care. We understand this? They don't care. So we have to care enough about one another to be willing to lay down your life for somebody else. It's quoted in Scripture. No greater love is there than this, to lay down one's life for another. There is nothing stronger and more powerful in this country than that. In this world, nothing. Would you die for your children? Or would you say, I'm afraid. I'm not going to stand and fight because it's too difficult, it's too hard, it's too scary. There's too much risk involved. There's risk involved to be free men and women. We've already lost so much of our freedoms because men and women did not stand before. And you can say that you think that they're wrong, they're trespassing on private property. I'm not going to stand back here and fight with you and argue with you. If you can't pick up a book, if you can't research some treaties, if you can't research the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and for God's sake, if you can't utilize a little bit of common sense, there's nothing that I can do to convince you otherwise. So I'm not going to waste my time trying to argue with you. This is our country. The sooner we as Americans recognize that this is our country and not big business, not corporations, not the United States government, it's the American citizen. It is the farmer, it is the rancher, it is the First Nations people. It's the carpenter and the plumber and the teacher and the librarian. This is our country. What are you willing to do to ensure that your children have true freedom. I will do whatever is necessary for my children. You know what? It was against the law. Yeah, I love Rosa Parks. Um, and she stood for what she believed in. She stood in the face of adversity and knew in her heart that what she was doing was right and it needed to be done. And many of you, I believe, you have that in your heart. It's in the pit of your stomach, but you're petrified by fear. What is there to fear? In all honesty, we're all going to die one day anyhow. How are you going to stand before your Creator and explain your life? And if you don't believe in a Creator, that's fine. That's your prerogative. But are you going to lay on your deathbed knowing that you did everything that you could to leave a legacy and a life that your children could be proud of? That you left something positive for your grandchildren to inherit? Or are you going to leave them something far worse? Because don't believe for 1 second that this is the first nor the last time. If we allow ourselves to be bullied and to be pushed around and to be taken advantage of, then we are setting up that same type of future for our children and our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren. That is the legacy that you're choosing to leave them. And that's your choice. My name is Kash Jackson, and I choose freedom for my children. I choose freedom for my grandchildren, and I choose freedom for myself. You're all free to make this choice just as I am. I will be in Standing Rock, and I will stand alongside my First Nation brothers and sisters. Whether or not I agree with the pipeline, whether or not I agree with the legality of that pipeline, whether or not I agree with the fact that there's millions of miles of pipeline running all throughout this country. What I know is that there comes a point in time in each person's life that they have to decide whether or not they are willing to stand and fight alongside their fellow man. And the pit of my stomach and every fiber of my being tells me that what I'm doing is a righteous and just cause. I will go to Standing Rock, and I will help them to restore freedom on their lands. This is Kash Jackson. You guys have a wonderful night. I'll be seeing you guys real soon.